Okay, so let's take a look at this table that asks you to translate the extraordinary language into ordinary language. So in poetry, you oftentimes will come across some figurative language or some challenging vocabulary that will make you have to pause and really interpret what the writer means. So, in other words, you're taking this extraordinary language and trying to put it into ordinary language. This is what the text says. You're trying to tell what it really means. So let's look at line number 7. Knowledge didn't agree with slavery. Let's look back in the context of the poem. This comes from the second stanza. Our masters always tried to hide book learning from our eyes. Knowledge didn't agree with slavery. 'Twould make us all too wise. So the speaker of this poem is a slave, and she's saying knowledge didn't agree with slavery. 'Twould make us all too wise. So, in other words, in ordinary language, the slave owners wanted slaves to be uneducated. Education would threaten their power. Slave owners wanted to keep learning away from the slaves because they were worried that if the slaves were educated, they would try to, have power against the slave owners. Now let's look at line number 12 and learn by hook or crook. Let's look back again at the context of the poem. So we're going to find line number 12. This comes from the third stanza. Some of us would try to steal a little from the book and put the words together and learn by hook or crook. So we have some figurative language here, learn by hook or crook. That's an idiom or a figure of speech, and it means that they will learn by any means necessary. So even though education wasn't easy for slaves to get, they were willing to learn any way that they could. So that's what you would put in this ordinary language part, a figure of speech that means by any means necessary. So the slaves would want to learn any way they could. So you have two more lines to look at. Lines number 39 and 40. What do you think she means by hymns and testament? What do those refer to? What ordinary language can you translate that into? And then down here at the end of the poem, she says, I felt as independent as the queen upon her throne. She's not literally a queen. So what does she mean when she says she feels like a queen? So you're just trying to figure out what does it really mean? Trying to put it into ordinary language or into other words.